You are asking me to describe what is probably the most exciting thing that I've seen in the way that a civil registration system has functioned. I would like to take you to Mulago Hospital, which is in Kampala in Uganda. Mulago is the hospital which handles the largest number of births among any hospital in Africa. When I visited that hospital about maybe it was sometime in the 2000s, 2003 or 4, we found that the only mechanism in place for knowing how many babies are being born in that hospital was a table which was set up outside the maternity ward. There were a couple of clerks sitting at the table, and when women give birth in the maternity ward in the hospital and they leave the operation, the ward where the birth happens, these people who are at the table would then jump up and intercept the woman to get information relating to the birth of the child. So this, as you can imagine, was not a terribly efficient system. You know, sometimes these people would be dozing, birth happens late at night, and there was no real reliable record happening there. UNICEF at that point was trying to see what they can do to improve registration of birth in the country. And we suggested to them that there is this place where the largest number of births are happening, and perhaps you can help by computerizing this whole system. And UNICEF promptly responded to this suggestion and set up a system whereby all the records relating to births were then computerized. I happened to have a second chance to visit the hospital about 2 years later. By now, there was a complete sea change. We saw then in Mulago that the mothers who were delivered were back in their wards with the babies, but instead of being intercepted on the way and asked to speak, etc., we found people from the records office were visiting the ward where the mother and baby were there with laptop computers, and they'd sit by the mother and take the information that they needed, feed it into the laptop, which would in turn get transmitted over wireless connection to the record room computer, where it was thereafter registered, because the superintendent of the hospital had been assigned the powers of a registrar. So she would then look at the records and satisfy herself that the birth has happened, press a couple of buttons, keys on the computer keyboard, and the registration was done. And they would print out the certificate and hand it over to the mother at the bedside again, and the mother would be able to leave the hospital with the birth certificate and not have to bother about any issue of trying to chase this certificate or, spend hours trying to retrieve this as was happening in the past.